Hey everyone, and welcome back to Way to Fluency podcast. I'm Clara.
And I'm David. It's great to be back with all of you.
So, David, you know how we always talk about different methods for learning English, the best apps, the best books, the best movies? But what if the biggest barrier isn't the method, but our own mindset? What if we could actually train our brains to learn faster?
That's a fantastic point, Clara. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. The idea that learning a language isn't just about absorbing information, but about changing how our brain works. It's about neuroplasticity.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. The theme is Train Your Brain to Win. Rewire your brain for language learning. We're going to explore how your brain is already a learning machine and how you can hack it to learn English more effectively.
I remember when I first started learning Spanish. I was so focused on grammar rules and vocabulary lists, and it felt like a chore. I would get so frustrated when I couldn't remember a word. I felt like my brain was just resisting.
That's a classic experience. It's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. But what if we told you that feeling of resistance isn't a permanent state? That your brain is incredibly adaptable?
Think about a baby learning their first language. They don't have flashcards or grammar books. They just listen, observe, and try to communicate. Their brains are creating new connections at an incredible speed. We still have that power. We just need to reactivate it.
So, a question for our listeners. Have you ever felt like you're just not good at languages? That it's too hard for you? Just hold on to that feeling for a moment. By the end of this episode, we hope to completely change your perspective on that.
We're going to talk about some simple, actionable techniques that don't involve more memorization, but instead focus on changing how your brain processes language. It's about creating new neural pathways.
We'll cover everything from the power of consistent small actions to using emotion and storytelling to create stronger memories. It's less about discipline and more about smart, brain-friendly habits.
So, the first big point is about consistency. We're not talking about studying for 5 hours straight. We're talking about something much more powerful, a concept known as spaced repetition.
Right. Spaced repetition is a super effective way to learn, but the key is that it trains your brain to make something part of your long-term memory. It's about revisiting information at increasing intervals.
Think of your brain like a path in a forest. If you walk the same path every day, it becomes a clear, easy-to-follow trail. If you walk it only once every few months, the path gets overgrown and hard to find. Learning a new word or grammar rule is like creating that path.
For example, you learn the word ubiquitous. You review it tomorrow, then in 3 days, then in a week, then in a month. By doing this, you're telling your brain, hey, this is important. Keep this information readily available.
I used to have a list of new vocabulary words on my desk. I tried to study them all at once on the weekends. It was so ineffective. The words would just disappear from my memory a few days later. It felt like my brain was a sieve.
I had the same issue. My breakthrough came when I started using a flashcard app that was based on spaced repetition. I'd spend just 5 to 10 minutes a day, and the app would show me words I was struggling with more often. That small, daily effort built up into a huge vocabulary over time. My brain started to feel less like a sieve and more like a sponge.
And this applies to everything. Instead of a 2-hour study session on Sunday, try 20 minutes every day. Maybe it's 5 minutes reviewing vocabulary, 5 minutes listening to a podcast, and 10 minutes reading a short article. That consistency tells your brain to build and strengthen the neural pathways for English.
So let's ask our listeners, what is one small, consistent action you can take this week? Just one. Is it listening to a song in English every day? Reading a paragraph of a book? The key is to start small and be consistent. So we've talked about consistency, but let's dive into another powerful tool for your brain, emotion.
This might sound strange, but our brains are wired to remember things that have an emotional connection. We remember stories, not facts. We remember experiences, not lists.
Think back to a really strong memory you have. It's probably tied to a feeling, right? Maybe it was a happy event, a sad one, or even something that made you feel proud. Your brain flags that memory as important because of the emotion attached to it.
So how do we use this for language learning? By creating an emotional connection to the new words and phrases. Instead of just learning the word courage, think about a time you were really brave, a time you faced a fear. Tell that story to yourself in English.
For example, a while ago, I was trying to learn the word resilience. I kept forgetting it. Then I thought about my friend who had to move to a new city and learn a new job from scratch. The journey was tough, but she never gave up. She showed incredible resilience. By connecting the word to her story, to that emotional experience, it stuck.
That's a perfect example. Another way to do this is through stories. Read short stories or watch movies and try to retell the plot to yourself. Not perfectly, just get the main points. This activates different parts of your brain and makes the language more meaningful. You're not just learning a word, you're using it to build a narrative.
What's a better way to learn than through the magic of storytelling? Your brain is built for it. Storytelling is how humans have communicated for thousands of years. It's a fundamental part of who we are. So use it. Tell stories in English, even simple ones. Talk about your day, talk about your weekend plans, talk about something you saw on the street.
So, our next question for our listeners. Can you think of a new word you learned recently? Try to connect it to an emotion or a personal story. Maybe a word like serendipity or gratitude. Find a moment from your life that fits that word and use it to build a memory. We've talked about consistency and emotion, but now let's talk about the physical act of using the language. This is where we talk about immersion, but in a very specific way.
A lot of people think immersion means moving to an English-speaking country. While that's the ultimate form of immersion, you can create your own right where you are.
It's all about creating an English bubble around you. Change the language on your phone, your social media, and your computer. Listen to podcasts and music in English. Watch TV shows and movies with English subtitles.
A good example is a story I heard about a friend who started using English as their thinking language. At first, it was slow, and they would just think of simple phrases. But with time, they started to be able to have full conversations with themselves in their head. The brain was being constantly exposed to English, and it made the learning process so much more natural.
And this leads us to what I call the just say it mindset. The biggest hurdle for many learners is fear of making mistakes. We get so caught up in being perfect that we never even try to speak.
But making mistakes is how your brain learns. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall down dozens of times, but they don't stop and say, "Oh, I'm bad at walking." They just get up and try again.
When I was learning Spanish, I was so shy. I'd prepare a phrase in my head, and by the time I was ready to say it, the moment had passed. Then I heard an expression, "Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good." That really resonated with me. I just started to say things, even if I knew they were wrong. And you know what? Most of the time, the other person understood me anyway.
Your brain needs to see you use the language in real life. It needs to know that this isn't just a classroom exercise. It's a tool for communication. It's like a muscle. You can't get strong just by reading about lifting weights. You have to go to the gym and lift them.
So, a final question for our listeners. When was the last time you used English in a real-life situation, no matter how small? Maybe you ordered a coffee in English, or you gave directions to a tourist. If you haven't, what's one simple way you can use English this week without worrying about being perfect?
We've covered a lot today. The power of consistency through spaced repetition, using emotion and storytelling to build stronger memories, and the importance of creating your own immersive environment with a just say it mindset.
Remember, your brain is not a static machine. It's a dynamic, incredible organ that is constantly changing and adapting. You have the power to rewire it. It's not about being good at languages. It's about being consistent, being emotional, and being brave enough to make mistakes.
So, here's our challenge to you. Pick one thing from today's episode and try it for the next 7 days. Just one thing. Is it using a spaced repetition app for 5 minutes a day? Or is it changing the language on your phone? Maybe it's just telling yourself a simple story in English about your day.
What matters is the action, not the outcome. This isn't about being perfect. It's about making progress. You're not just learning English. You're training your brain to become a better learner.
And as you take on this challenge, we want to hear from you. What's working? What's not? Let us know in the comments below, and we might even read some of your experiences in a future episode.
That's right. Your journey is part of our journey. We're all in this together.
So, let's wrap things up. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more episodes. And if you found this episode helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. It really helps us out.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next time with more tips to help you on your English Advantage journey.